Sorry about that, babe.
Alright, we're back with another Deathless run. This time it's going to be Little Nemo the Dream Master on the NES. I'm probably not going to read the in-game dialogue, and I skipped through most of it pretty quickly, but if you guys can catch up, feel free. Basically, at the beginning of each level, a character kind of gives you the shtick as far as where you are, if there's somebody else to talk to. This one's the longest one in the game, pretty much telling you about how you could feed candy to various creatures to use their abilities. You can get on and off with select, and you need to get keys in order to go through a door at the end of each level. So this level in particular is going to be 6 keys, and one of the first things that we're going to end up doing here is getting into the frog suit, or I guess not really a suit, right, but you're taking over the creature. Kind of looks like a suit on Nemo. The first key is going to be there above the blue mushroom, toadstool, whatever you want to call it. Then you're kind of just going to push along here, keep going up and to the right, and there's going to be another key on top of this one, and the next key will be on top of the gigantic red toadstool down below here. And this level's pretty easy. There's only a couple pretty tricky parts, and I'll try to address it as we get there. We're going to be switching out of the frog suit and now feeding candies to, I believe this is probably a groundhog or a gopher. I don't really know. Either way, this suit or ability allows you to get 2 keys really quickly by digging down, and there they are, and there's only 1 key remaining. So here's a little bit of a tricky part. You can kind of just run off here. So when we get into this frog suit, I'm going to inch over to the side because a bee is going to come down. I'm going to wait for the bee, and then I'm going to start jumping. Sometimes if you get a little bit too aggressive there, the bee could really screw things up. So the reason we want the frog suit now, obviously we couldn't get over there anyway in the gopher groundhog suit, is we want to bounce all the way up and to the left. So you kind of backtrack once in a while on these levels. Especially if you miss keys. I wouldn't consider that a missed key. I'm pretty sure the intended path is to get there. You don't need that creature that's over there, the purple one. You could just get it with the frog suit, and that's what I recommend. That's pretty much it for the first level. It's not too crazy. Second level is not too bad either. I will say this though, the first few times playing this game, it's going to take you a while to get used to the hitboxes, and you know, as with most games of the era, the more practice you put into it, the better that you will get. But yeah, it's really easy to get hit in this level. And in case you guys are curious, I'd say that this probably took me 6 full run attempts to get this deathless. However, I did practice a lot of segments on my power pack. So don't think I just tried it 6 times and that was it. You know what I mean? Like, I practiced a few of the tougher segments, but anyway. We're gonna kind of jump over these snakes, and we're gonna instantly go into the gorilla suit, pushing to the right. We're gonna take our time, as snakes and bees are gonna be coming, and we wanna make sure that we punch them. The bees spawn pretty quickly, as you can see. They just keep coming and coming and coming. There might be an easier way around it, but I don't know. We got hit there, which isn't great, but there's a lot of small healths, as you can see. One there, 2 in this next frame. And we're just going to work our way to the top. We're actually going to eat damage, because it doesn't really matter. We're going to be switching out of the gorilla suit over into this suit, which I don't know if it's a lizard or a gecko or what. I have the instruction manual in the box, I just don't have it with me. The main goal there with this suit is to climb things. So you can climb up and get the key. And then, because he's tiny, you can fit through tiny spaces. And he's actually really useful later in the game. Now we're going to switch over to the bee suit, which is probably the best one in the game, the bee ability. Gonna drop down, fly back up, and these little seed things, eventually they kind of stop moving, and you can kind of like troll them by going left and right or jumping to get them to kind of act and commit, and that will be very handy later in the game. Now, the bee flying suit ability, it does fly, as you can see, but you run out of juice. In order to replenish your juice, you have to land on a platform. So it's very important to remember that, because later on there's going to be a level where you're flying, and if you don't land on platforms, you will just die. Here, I like to be careful, so I jump back down. Those spikes equal instant death. And here I just kind of wait for my cycles to get past, but we already have 5 keys already, which means there's only 1 more remaining in the level. So we're just going to kind of take our time, be careful. Being careful is one of the main things to do in these levels. These tadpole guys are the bane of my existence. I'll tell you that right now. They are brutal. But we're almost at the end. We need to switch over into this ability so we can climb up the tree, get our last key, and get the hell out of here. So, it's kind of tough to explain, but as you can see, I kind of dropped down from the upper left to the bottom right branch to get the key. Sometimes if you jump, I think most of the times if you jump, you actually get stuck on the tree, so it's better to kind of walk through it when you're on the gecko ability suit thing. I don't know, what do you call it? I don't even know. It's like you feed them the things, they fall asleep, and then you kind of get their abilities. Sometimes it looks like it's a suit, sometimes you're riding them. It's tough to explain, but anyway. Dream 3, level 3 here, House of Toys. Now this one is probably the first litmus test to Little Nemo players. This is a tough level, for many reasons. Getting the keys is really easy. Not about the keys, it's an on-rails segment where you're on a toy train, I guess, right? And there's lots of things that can hit you, there's lots of insta-death. It's actually brutal if you don't have proper knowledge and practice on this level. So as you can see me kind of running back and forth and kind of pushing the issue, the closer you get to the right side of the screen, the planes will drop faster. Unfortunately, I got hit there, but there's actually going to be 2 instances of health. There's one. That's also a very tricky jump. You get it like 50% of the time. You have to kind of push to the left and fall down. But I got hit there again. However, there's another health, as you can see. You do not have to jump up to the top. In fact, that's kind of a troll. If you jump up to the top, you have a better chance of getting caught and insta-killed by getting scrolled off the screen. Little droppy things, you just kind of play footsie with it and go back and forth. So this is really key. The spikes insta-kill you. What you want to do is push the issue with those flying squirrels, and then kind of jump backwards, and then duck when needed. If you wait too late, the squirrels will probably hit you into the spikes, or you'll hit the spikes yourself by trying to avoid things. So I like to get close to the right of the screen, bait them out, and then kind of do my thing. So here for these keys, I just kind of jump over the enemies. You just take your time. There's going to be 3 waves, obviously. Nothing crazy. This is the tough part. See where I am right now on the train? I feel like that's probably the safest spot to go. Stay ducked. The spikes cannot hit you except 2 parts. One we already passed. That one could hit you as well. And now you're in free as long as you're ducked. However, grab that health, by the way. I don't even mess around over here. I just eat some damage from a plane coming up. And my main reason is I don't want to jump and get hit by accident, because you can get damage boosted into the spikes and it's all over. So this is the last tough part. You have to deal with these stupid bombing things. You probably saw me get hit with them earlier. It's tough to explain their RNG. They just kind of drop when they feel like it. in order to avoid them, I try to stay to the right of the screen as much as possible when their segments are up. And now we're almost at the end. We're just going to kind of duck and jump as needed, and that's it. If you miss some keys along the way, there's actually an extra key to the right of the door. The screen keeps scrolling, but I did not need it, and I didn't feel like flexing. So it's kind of where we left off with that. So in my opinion, that's definitely one of the hardest levels or dreams in the game. Now, it's really funny. This level or dream coming up, level 4, Dream 4, Night C, in my opinion is, other than the first level, probably the easiest level in the game. But there is one segment in particular with a tadpole that I've had instances where he's not there at all, and then I've had instances where he is there. And of course, as I was recording, he was there every time. I died on this level like 3 times, and I was so salty, so salty. You'll see when we get there. But now we're kind of like a hermit crab with a shell, and it has a digging mechanic. The first 2 keys are pretty easy to see. We're gonna pop up here, switch over to Nemo. I like controlling him more over the frog suit. I actually won't even stay in the frog suit when we get it eventually. 2 places to go, well 3. One is in the middle spot here, and then you go up to the top, where it's gonna lead us to a key. I think there might be a 1-up somewhere. There's spikes though, so be careful. Yeah, there's a 1-up, but we're not doing that. Get our health here. We'll go down, and there's a key to the left. Be careful of the spikes. Also be careful of those little puffer fish type of enemies, because if you get damage boosted by a hit, you could bump up into the spikes and it's all over. So instead of going down and to the right, we're actually going to pop back out and go all the way to the top. It's also going to lead us to another key spot. As you can see, this level's pretty easy, right? Lots of health. Overall pretty simple. There are insta-death spikes up there, so when we get into the suit, we're going to do a very weak jump, just enough to get us over the ledge. And instead of going down and to the right, I like to go back and to the left. The main reason, down and to the right features more spikes, and I don't feel like messing with them because it's such an easy way to die. So now we're gonna go back to where we just were, but instead of going up, we're gonna go down. I hit the guy with the candy just because, like, leave me alone, you know what I mean? Now, more insta-death spikes and enemies, so just be mindful. I just kind of swim mid-level and fast as I can. Now here's where the game gets annoying, in this level in particular. If there's a tadpole down here, which there is, it could pretty much just wipe you out. You have to get into the hermit crab suit, and you have to get down into the sand, and then you have to get up. So what I did was I went back to the left to despawn him. Unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough. So I'm gonna kind of play footsie with this guy now. It's just so annoying. I got a really, really good candy throw there, and I was so pumped. And then of course he's running away. The tadpole's still coming. We gotta go in and grab this and get up. Actually, it looks like the tadpole isn't following me anymore, thank goodness. And then we go up to the top. I cannot stress enough how annoying that tadpole thing is. It ruined 2 or 3 of my runs. And like I said, if you see him there, you're better off going to the left and despawning him, and then hopefully you get good RNG. Unfortunately for me, I had to do more dilly-dallying in order to get into the hermit crab digging suit. Because I was being full frontal attacked. Boy, that part is ridiculous. I wish you the best of luck. I'm not even kidding, it's probably like one of the top 3 hardest areas in the game. And during my practice, I never ran into it once. I'm not exaggerating. It's very odd. I don't know how it spawns there or if it's completely random, but... Anyway, Nemo's house now. Enough of that level. Other than Nightmare Land, last level of the game, which is very, very long because there's a lot of segments. This is probably the longest one in the game. Not super duper long, but it's a lot more tedious. We're gonna go up into the left and grab the frog suit here. A lot of patience in this level. I kind of execute some patience here to make sure that we're not getting hit by any of these things. There is some health scattered throughout, but obviously it's best practice to just not get hit. First key is going to be up and over here. If those flying guys jump down while you're closer to the ceiling, they will keep a high flying trajectory. Otherwise, they will fly lower and you have to jump over them. Going up the stairs here, we're going to have more egg spitters. If you kind of go quick, you can get around. If you don't, you got to take your time and jump over it. Gonna have to do some more baiting here of these bats. Pretty sure they're just bats, right? You can hit them with the candies if you want, like I did there. Otherwise, I do the old right-left. Now, going down here, you're gonna eat damage, but there's health there. And then don't even worry about getting hit by that guy, it's a good thing. Keep moving, because there's, again, more health coming up. So as long as you get down here with 1 or 2 life, you are totally fine. Because as you can see right there is a full health. But we're going to work our way to the right and grab this suit so we can climb. Now, speedrunners I've seen are able to do some kind of weird, like, pause, unpause glitch where you can kind of skip this whole segment, but I have no idea what they're doing there, so do it the normal way. Grab a 1-up, I guess if you're playing casually, that's good, right? There's the second key. As you can see, this level's pretty long, because we've only gotten the second key just now. And the reason why we have this suit is, ta-da, we're gonna go up and get the B. And then we're gonna work our way up. I'm gonna give you some specific pathing here to kind of avoid damage, and even if you don't avoid it completely, it'll kind of land you right to a healing item again, which is great. I'm gonna go up and to the left, and we're gonna fire our shots at the monkey dude. When they're facing the opposite direction, they don't throw their plates, I noticed. When the plates are facing towards you, they will. So yeah, if you kind of duck and then just kind of go straight up there, you will avoid all those bats. However, tons of bats come down, and it gets super duper annoying. Luckily for you, you have the flying ability now. If you were just jumping, oof, good luck. If you do get hit, there's actually another health there, but I don't need it. So now we're gonna grab 2 more keys by flying over to the left. As I said, the flying ability does wear out, so you have to quote-unquote recharge it. That's what we're doing by landing on those squares. And now we're gonna go back and to the right. We don't want to go up top because I feel like it's more consistent and easier just to go back. We're gonna wait for the egg drop, kind of do a drop down, and then start fluttering up. And we're just gonna do that as needed all the way across. And now we're gonna go up here and over to the right. Yeah, I got hit there, unfortunately. It's okay though. And we're gonna go up here. Now, key, do not get out of your B suit, please. You have to work your way over, because you're gonna still need the B suit. Do not get rid of it. So we're gonna grab the key just off of the screen there. There's some more health if you need it. It's a little bit trickier to platform here with the B suit because you do have to flutter up instead of jump up, but you'll get the hang of it eventually. And that bat will come down instantly, so if you have the B suit, please keep fluttering. And now we're gonna work our way to the left. Really no opposition in your way at this point. And we're gonna go up top and we're gonna be switching into another monster, animal, ability suit, whatever you wanna call it, that's very, very critical, and it gives you a kind of a preview of what's to come in a very specific, important segment in Topsy-Turvy, which is the last world before Dreamland. And it's this guy, the little mouse with the hammer. So, he clings to walls, very similar to the little gecko lizard guy, which you might see here. Do I get hit on this run? I do. It's very easy to get clung to walls. I actually get hit twice, I forgot about that. In all of my practice runs, I got out of there without getting hit. However, if you're just a little off in your jumping, you'll get stuck to the walls and get bamboozled there. So now, since we're almost dead, we're gonna take our time and we're gonna hammer these things and just keep moving. You will get to a health spot soon, and if you get there, you're golden. Perfect. Hammer these things, jump up, and now watch out for a bat. I like to hammer it for consistency's sake. That bat will usually miss you, and then you can kind of jump up over there. We're almost home free. So do you see this, how we're breaking these blocks? That comes in handy again in Topsy-Turvy. It's the second block that it's hard to get unless you've played the game before. As you can see, I keep missing it, right? It's a very specific jump hit mechanic that you need to execute, and it's very, very important in Topsy-Turvy. We're gonna drop down and grab the B suit. You can, I think, go over with the mouse if you climb over it, but it's so much easier. We also don't want to get hit because there's an enemy over here, so we're gonna fly back up, and it's gonna be another one of those monkeys throwing plates. We're gonna fire kind of off screen as to not have plates thrown at us, and bam, there you go, the 7th key. So as I mentioned, a very, very long level. It's not that hard though. The hardest segment, in my opinion, of that level is when you get the mouse suit, if you end up getting bamboozled and then having to go through the egg spitters. Very, very possible to get hit 3 times during that segment. As you can see, I almost died. That was the least clean segment that I've had throughout all my practices. But of course, you know, this ends up being the deathless run, right? Because that's just kind of how it works. So now, we're going to the Cloud Ruins, which is actually a very quick level. If you know what you're doing, it's really easy. Can be a bit challenging though, especially if you don't know what you're doing. A lot of this level revolves around going up and going down kind of scrolling sections, which feature insta-death if you screw up. A couple of somewhat tough jumps. One of them's coming up here. gonna bait these seed guys. You ultimately want to go up to that diagonal one. I like to wait. If you get hit by the seed, it's okay. This is actually also the only time that I've had to 2-cycle this. Very sloppy run. So as you can see, I got hit, it's okay. You get a full health there, and then you switch into the bee suit anyway. So not a big deal. I'm gonna jump down to this kind of rooftop thing, and then start immediately flying up and resting here, and now the scrolling starts. We're gonna go all the way up and to the right, touch really quick, and that's kind of the shtick here. You have to deal with the birds, touch and keep flying, touch and keep flying. Gonna go over this guy, touch, keep flying. Now we're gonna go up and to the left, and here's the tricky one. You're gonna wanna go over him, and then go up, and now you're done. So I had a run end there because I didn't go over that guy. I tried to touch the left ledge before he got there, and he hit me, and I ran out of juice and I died. So just kind of follow that general pathing I did, and you will be a-okay. Now, as you can see, I kind of went up and to the right to get to the rooftop to get the lizard guy, who you need to get to the next segment. Watch out for the flying squirrels and the seeds. Those are the only things that can really hit you here, but they're very easily manipulated, as you can see. Just kind of jump over them. Get that guy down. Jump over that guy. And jump down over here. You could lose the suit. You can make this what looks to be a tough jump. Nemo just gets shot over there. Very key here. Hit this guy with your candy to stun him. And then get the screen scrolling. That wasn't the best job, but I still got it done. If you don't hit him, he will continue to fall with you and troll the shit out of you and possibly kill you. My general advice for this segment is stay left middle. I never go anywhere close to the right. And as you can see, there's really even no places to fall down. So left middle, hit that guy at the beginning so he's stunned and start scrolling. Watch out for one more troll right here. Make a jump and another jump and you're done. So it's not too bad. The general tips for that level, guys, when you're going up, just try to rest as much as you can on the spots. That last one before the very end, make sure you flutter over the bird, and then you can get to the top. And on the way down, throw the candy, hit the seed, start the scrolling, stay middle left, and you're good to go. Now, I remember I used to think this level was tough coming up, called Topsy-Turvy. It's basically an upside-down room. It's actually really easy. There's only one hard part in this whole level, and I'll show you. Get the first key, we're gonna go all the way to the right. Just as Nemo, nothing special. And we're gonna go up through here, and to the left, to get the frog suit again, which is making another appearance. Oddly enough, with little frogs running by. It's like the first level all over again, right? And we're gonna utilize the suit in order to get this key. I think there's 7 keys in this level. I'm not positive, but I think there's 7. So then we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna get close to the bee suit, which we're gonna switch out of, and then get the bee. Now in this general segment, there's some flying squirrels, some seeds, and some monkeys, so always keep your shots available, just in case you need them. There's gonna be a key and a health item over here. Occasionally, you could actually despawn these monkeys. I think it has to do with the flying squirrel flying by, which is something you'll see later in the game. In one of the last areas, and I'll talk about it. About despawning things off the screen with enemies. I'm gonna fly up and to the left here. I'm gonna wait for this seed and grab the key that's directly above me. And then we're gonna switch into the mouse suit. And this is the hardest spot of the level, and I remember I have a very sloppy part here, I'm pretty sure. One of my worst, but we get through it. I think we almost die. So you're gonna wanna mash and jump up. Yes, that's why I almost died. Yep, I don't know how I survived this, dude. Most of the times you can get all the way up with only getting hit once, and then I end up jumping on the thing. Oh my goodness. Your key here is to hit those first 4 blocks, then you can run through and grab this health. So if you still have 1 health left, you still have a pulse. Ultimately, you'll grab this key here. But what happened there was a little fluky. Typically, you can get all the way up with getting hit once, and then you could take your time and you could still eat 1 more damage up there by the seeds. But I got hit twice, and I was in dire strait, guys. But the key here is just never give up. As long as you have 1 piece of health left, you can still get it done. And there I screw up as well. It is kind of tough. There's not a lot of room to maneuver there. So if you have full health, it's fine. Even if you get hit once or twice, down here, there's a full health again. Watch out for the birds dropping the eggs, though. And we're not going to fly to the upper left one. I think the upper left one has health or a 1-up. I don't recall. I think it might be a 1-up. We're going to fly to that upper right one and grab the key. And now you're thinking, okay, only one more key left, right? Because I think I said there was 7. Very interesting key, which we'll get to later. Just avoid the seed here. You should have enough juice to keep flying, and then just kind of drop down. It's really not that big of a deal. Here, I think there's a way to get to the end just by flying, but I like to be careful. Unfortunately, I got hit there, but we had full health, so it's not a big deal. Fly to the top, and then there's going to be some more visual aids of these little cloud things leading you to, ultimately, the door, which you will see. Where's the last key, guys? Oh, it's down below. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to drop off about as low as possible before you start fluttering. If you start jumping off and fluttering and getting the key, you will die. So make sure that when you drop off that you're not fluttering. Save all your fluttering juice, guys. You're gonna need it there to get that 7th key. I made that mistake before, especially in my first few playthroughs of flying off, and then honestly, I'm pretty sure you just end up running out of juice, and it's kind of like a troll item. Something that you wouldn't really know until you get there. Alright, so now you're treated to one of the most long, excruciating cutscenes in NES history. Now don't get me wrong, back in the day, I love this type of stuff. It's cool to have a little bit of backstory. I love the artwork, like the Nightmare King is fucking awesome. But holy hell, it's so long. And guess what? It's unskippable. Yeah. So if you're speedrunning or you're doing a challenge run like I am, dude, you are crossing your fingers that you don't die in Nightmare Land. Because I don't know how long this is. I want to say it's almost 3 or 4 minutes long of cutscenes. I guess I'll go over the gist of it. I'm sure you guys have been reading a little bit. So what you want to do in Nightmare Land is you're going to be swapping between your candy and like the rod thing that's on your back, and now the rod has powers, but I think they refer to it as a morning star, which is really weird because aren't morning stars the like the spiked ball weapons like in medieval times and like RPGs and shit? Anyway, it seems more like a magic wand to me, but the princess here gives it abilities, which is a charge shot. You could also whack things with it, but the charge shot's going to be the thing that you use the most. The whacking method I do utilize during a boss in Nightmare Land, but yeah, you're going to be swapping between candies in this throughout the next segments, and that's pretty much the whole cutscene. Talking about going into Nightmare Land, taking down the Nightmare King guy or whatever his name is. And how you've enchanted this morning star now with the princess. And yes, it's still going on. It's still going on. Now Nemo's in awe. He's got the derp face going on. And holy hell, it's so long, guys. The fact that you can't skip this is like a travesty, honestly. The fact that you can't press start and skip this, especially on a subsequent playthrough, is like, it's brutal. I actually went to the bathroom during this. That's how long this is. I got up, I took a pee, and I washed my hands, and I came back, and the cutscene still wasn't done. Can you believe that? Oy, oy, oy. Finally, we're in level 8, Dream 8, Nightmare Land, which is the longest section of the game with 3 bosses. So, you're not going to use your rod first, you're going to be using your candy to get into this guy. And we're going to be doing some nifty maneuvering here. Over the frog. There is some health coming up, so you could be a little sloppy. We're going to do a lot of baiting here of the bats. I'm going to bait this bat as well. And then we're going to kind of jump through. Because as you can see, why didn't I die when I hit the ceiling on this thing? Well, turns out that your hitbox is like non-existent on the top when you're in this guy. So you won't hit ceiling spikes, and also flames won't hit you from the top. It's very interesting. There, as you can see, going up the tree, you can get the full heal. Jumping over, and we have more platforming here with the fire. You can get hit from below, though. It's only up top with the fire when you're on this thing. And now we're at the boss. So you're gonna do your charge shot. I did a little early there. It's like the Penguin King. I don't know who the hell this guy is. Again, I didn't look at the manual. But when it comes to the charges, obviously fully charge is the best. But I'll try to aim for anywhere between the A and the R if I'm trying to get quicker shots off. This isn't a great fight, by the way. It's a careful fight, but not a quick fight. He shoots the little penguins out at you, which he could whack, which is what I mentioned is pretty much the only instance in which I use that. Then you gotta dodge the bubbles. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Shoot him, dodge the bubbles, and whack the penguins. Or jump over them, I guess. A little bit more risky, obviously, with the falling bubbles. He is completely random as to which side he goes on, which is probably why you're seeing me just whiff. I'll be charging to the left and he falls to the right, like right there. So hopefully you get good RNG, and maybe he'll stay on one side for you the whole time and you'll just keep hitting him. It'll be a lot quicker than that, but it's really, if you take your time, guys, it's not that bad. Just take your time. And now this is the hardest segment of the game, unless you execute a glitch, and I will explain. You cannot get hit more than once, otherwise you might as well reset your game. The key here is staying in this guy. There's a frog suit in this level, and the quote-unquote normal way to get through requires the frog suit. I'm telling you, I've never done it once. I've never got through this area once normal. I'm taking my time here through the flames. After these flames run off, I jump over it to not get hit. I bait the seed to the wall. We work over here. We're gonna jump up, walk to the left to bait the seed, jump up, walk to the right to bait the seed. The ceiling flames can't hurt you. Jump here, jump up into those guys for a damage boost. That is the glitch, the damage boost, whatever you want to call it, that is ultra important. If you can't get that off, you're gonna have a hell of a time. Otherwise, you have to go through with the frog suit, and it's a fucking... I don't even know how you get through with the frog suit. I tried it before, I can't even do it. And since we're still on this dude instead of the frog, oh my god, we're not even gonna hit by the ceiling spikes, like I said earlier. Now, I don't know if it's an oversight from the devs or what, because the intended way to get through that last segment is with the frog suit, but I'll take it. It makes this segment super duper easy. The only time you can get hit by the ceiling spikes is now as Nemo. Otherwise, you just work your way forward, guys, make that jump there out of the water, and bam, you're on to the second boss. So, the notes I'll say about this boss. Apparently, this boss is RNG manipulative. Meaning if you do certain things at certain times, it will spawn in the same areas over and over. However, I thought I had him down to a science, and as you guys saw, I've been missing a lot and kind of jumping around, which means I didn't have him down to a science. He was appearing in all these random spots. So, what are my tips for this? You could always start the fight down lower left and shoot him up at the top. Beyond that, if you want to be in the quote-unquote safest spot, I recommend going to the edge of the left, where I am right now, even a little bit more off. More often than not, the paths will not hit you. The only time you'll get hit is if he flies horizontally like he did there. I'm glad he did that, so I could show you. Or if you get hit by the fire because you were too busy charging and he came in a weird spot. Otherwise, the left side of the screen is the safest. And like I said, I had him down to a science where I was killing him in like four or five cycles of his instead of like whatever that was, like 10. But he didn't cooperate. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. But stay towards the left ledge and you'll be good. Now in this segment, you have to do a little bit of platforming. Those jumps they did at the beginning, they're not as easy as I made them look. Definitely take your time there and jump at the bitter end. Otherwise you will fall and die and be very sad. So now, we're gonna do a lot of manipulation. We're gonna hit this B and have him run with us, or fly with us as we run, to despawn some ceiling things. Unfortunately, I didn't execute it perfectly and the last one spawned. No big deal, just drop down below. But as you can see, there was 2 of them there. If you don't spawn that B, or if you don't like hit the B and run with him, they'll all be there. And that segment becomes a little bit more hairy. It's not the end of the world though. You're gonna jump over the bats and feed your little boy, and then you have to deal with the bats again. This part's a little weird. I like to go down here. Typically you're not gonna get hit because of the small hitbox. Bait out some bats, do some jumps, and then you're gonna have to go up to the top. You have to bait out more bats. You have to get to a B suit. There is that bat. Jump up in the ceiling here, or the side wall, and you won't get hit. Now you have the B. So we're almost to the end. And I apologize if you're hearing stomping again. What else is new? Cat's running around like a moron upstairs. I'm taking it easy here. I'm shooting the bats with my stingers. And now we're going to do more despawning magic. We're going to get this guy to fly out with us over to the left. And bam, it despawned all the ceiling crushers, so we don't have to worry about those at all on the way back. Now, we have another suit ability, the mouse. And he's known to troll. So as you can see, I waited for him to walk. There's been times where I jump up there, he walks, I can't even get my candies off, and I'm dead. Basically, because I have to go back and get the B-suit again. So I wait for him to walk back to the left, and I satisfy his candy needs. And I'm doing the old jumperoonie up here. And this last segment of this part, very easy, just take your time. Wait for the fire, jump over it, wait for the egg, wait for the fire, jump over it. Rinse and repeat all the way through. Just take your time, don't be hasty, and you'll get through A-okay. And then you have the smallest screen segment, easiest, mind-numbingly easy, coming up very shortly, part of the game, which consists of the following. Walk to your right, wait, drop down, grab the health, drop down, switch, and drop out. Bam. Now you're on the last screen of the game. Real easy, right? You get a full heal, barely any chance to get hurt, because even if you ran into that slug, you could just get the health. Nightmare King time, baby. So, my run here isn't great, but I'll explain what you should do. Try to get as close to a full charge as possible, and only hit his head. If you hit his body, to my knowledge, it doesn't even register as a hit. He shoots 3 beams at you after he stops. The one gets really close to the edge of the screen. I like to stay to the left. I never really like to get close to him in any capacity. And he also shoots out this red glob that respawns if you kill it. The glob stays in the air and goes in a diagonal pattern. Sometimes it goes the way it's going now, sometimes it goes in the opposite direction. There are a couple instances of getting the glob in a spot where it'll just kind of stay on the screen and you can do what you need to do, which is right here. I'm jumping over it every time, so I don't have to deal with it constantly respawning, constantly running into my charges, and, you know, kind of lowering RNG, right? Now, unfortunately, I haven't played this fight that much in recent days as of this recording, like I did in the past a couple years ago when I played the game, so I'm not as familiar with all the ins and outs. I'm really taking my time because of that, because I just don't want to get caught in the wrong spot. So when he's ready to shoot, I always run to the left side of the screen so I could jump over that first laser beam. Eventually I think I get impatient and I kill the glob because I'm just not having as much luck with an in, so to speak, to get a hit in. But I know we're doing decent damage, even though this fight's taking forever. Just be very careful. Typically when I do this fight, I always get hit at least once, as you guys saw. And I'm just kind of doing the whole RNG thing, man. I'm jumping over the glob and I'm waiting for my my openings. I'm not getting greedy. Probably to a fault, right? There was kind of dumb on my part. I don't know why I did that. Shot him right in his body. And I think, like I said, soon I get really impatient and I just kill the glob. The reason why I would keep the glob on the screen in the first place is so I can get easier hits in, but I'm really failing on that front. I'm really just focusing on not getting hit at this point. I'm barely getting any good hits in. So is this where I finally get impatient? I'm trying to remember where it is. Long fight. This is one of the longest fights I've ever had with him. Just because I'm not doing enough damage. That was a good shot. I think that one still counts, right? When it's on his, like, lower lip. You'll definitely want to aim closer to the forehead. Okay, so I finally get rid of the glob. And now it's going to keep coming out, as I said. But we're just going to keep firing quick. And bam! Of course, as soon as I get impatient, right at the very end, it's like one more full charge and he's dead, right? So what are my tips for the Nightmare King again? Stay to the left side of the screen. When he shoots his lasers, just jump over the first one towards the left. If you want to get impatient, you can keep shooting the glob. Otherwise, if you get it in a pattern like I did, it's pretty easily manipulated. And that's that. He's a bit of a damage sponge, especially if you're not hitting him directly in the right spot, and especially if you're not using a lot of juice on your Morning Star charge. But eventually he will fall. That was a very long fight. That is not a speedrun fight. That is not one for the history books. But you know what? Guess what, guys? As sloppy as that run might have been, I didn't die. And that's all that matters, right? So now you're pretty much being, you know, told thanks by Morpheus, King Morpheus of Dreamland. Princess Camille over here. She ends up giving Nemo a smooch. And then I think Nemo ends up waking up, right? I'll probably let the end-to-end really play out for you guys. You know, I'm always kind of torn between doing like story playthroughs, but you know, this was specifically voted on as a deathless run, so I didn't want to focus too much on the story. But I am showing you guys like the entirety of the game, like I wasn't cutting this stuff out. I left the intro of the game and so on and so forth. But yeah, I guess that's that. I've talked more than enough. I hope that you guys enjoyed the run, and I hope that if you struggle with Little Nemo, maybe I did something in this run that could help you. It's a great game, super underrated. It may or may not be featured in a podcast of mine in the future. Stay tuned. I did a review of this back in the day meaning like 2 years ago. I'll link that in the pinned comment and description below if you're interested. I still pretty much stand by everything I said in that review. In fact, I might even enjoy the game a little bit more than I did then, believe it or not. But yeah, if you liked this run, please like the video, comment. I do my best to reply to all comments on all videos, and subscribe, people. We're getting close to 1,000 subs. I really do appreciate all the support from you guys. I'll be back with another Deathless run when I can get around to it. And I'll be honest with you, it's probably going to end up being Gunsmoke. It's a little teaser. But I'm going to shut the hell up and let you guys enjoy the cool tunes in the end of this video. So I'm going to mute myself. And yeah. Hope you all enjoyed. Take it easy.